Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the CJS channel, where today we're back ranking UltraKill.
In this series, I listen to and rank all the UltraKill tracks for the first ever time. Spanning across 6 videos, the first 5 will be me listening to a set number of tracks, with the top 2 from each episode progressing to the UltraFinals, which apparently I may regret, where in the final episode, I'll be declaring the GOAT UltraKill soundtrack. And this is episode 4. This is the episode where, according to you guys, the best tracks are. Last video, the Hakita glazing was at an all-time high, so it's almost impossible to think of an episode better than it, but let's see. But first, one quick note before we begin. Last episode, I asked if you would like me to add in the 2 new tracks recently released by Hakita, and pretty much all of you said yes. So for next episode, I will add them to the list. I didn't have time for this one, as I'd have to make a brand new tier list, which takes forever, and time's a little limited at the moment, as when this video comes out, I will be in Fuerteventura. Let's continue in Act 2, but now in Layer 6, which is called Heresy, with Chord of the Crooked Saints. I'm expecting nothing but bangers today. Let's go. Yep, straight away, nothing but bangers. In conclusion, it was another track that was so creative and emotional. It just has to join Insert Disc 2 in S+++. Chord of the Crooked Saints, more like Chord of the Microwave. How is it as the series progresses, my jokes get even worse? Yeah, this is obviously going to go into F tier. Although one positive-ish thing I can say about this is that it sounded a bit industrial, which may fit the theme of the level, although I'm not sure as I haven't played UltraKill yet. More about that soon. And staying on the topic of this music, if you can call it that, it's Comment of the Week time, which comes from talking about this track from 2 number 45's One with Cheese. What the... Anyway, they say, fun fact, there's only one song with lyrics in the whole entirety of the UltraKill OST. It's called Chord of the Crooked Saints. If you want to look at the lyrics, scroll down. Once you scroll down, it says, here's the lyrics. After listening to this track, I can now say I understand the UltraKill humour. It was very funny, so congratulations. And as usual, if you want to have a chance to be featured for Comment of the Week for episode 5 of this series, the final standard episode, all you have to do is subscribe and comment down below. The next track is called Altars of the Apostrophe. However, similarly to Guts and Glory, tons of you guys told me to listen to the transition to it from Chord of the Crooked Saints. So more microwave music, let's go! Whoa! Okay, sounds like we're redoing something we've already done. We're wheeling it back, but now with a new level of difficulty. This has got a sped up motif of Glory, I'm pretty sure, which is already a track I loved a lot, but now with a classical condescending curveball. Did you like that alliteration there? From a darker Baroque style to an epically hopeful godlike metal for a key change that gave me goosebumps. I adore the Glory leitmotif too. I love how Hakita expands on ideas from previous tracks. Here he suddenly modulates to a new key whilst keeping a rhythm to it that, with just slightly different textures or BPM, could turn the whole song around. What I'm trying to say is Hakita is playing on a very thin line, mixing a more modern technique of sudden shifts with classic textures, and here it works really well. And here, I just love this bit so much! It fascinates me with the musical transitions between the major and minor parts of this, portraying a feeling of never-ending doubt, keeping you on your toes, whilst also playing on your mind, feeding you doubt, making you ask yourself, is this really what I want? And that just stems back to the title of this song, Apostasy. Also, I thought this song had just finished, but we've still got like a minute and a half of it. I just don't know what to do anymore. Bells on top of what sounds like multiple guitars with an awesome beat to complement it. Wow. What is going on? You can hear a subtle Castlevania riff in the background, but don't let that distract you for one of my favourite instruments, the electric guitar. The way it takes control here is mesmerising. Yeah, GG. In conclusion, this track was art. I mean wholeheartedly when I say this. Hikita is a genius. What he's able to create is just different. On a level very few composers could even dream about touching. Yet these pieces were made for a game, and this is why I love reacting to and analysing these gaming OSTs. I mean, what else do I need to say? If you guys hadn't told me about this episode being so stacked, I would have just put this straight into the Ultra Finals. But just to be on the safe side, for now, it can only go to the top of S tier. Next up, we have another track which I would have said is not an original OST, called Fallen Angel, as it's an adaptation of back BWV 639. But according to this comment, it is an original soundtrack. So let me know in the comments if I've got it wrong and I need to change it. But of course, we're still going to listen to it and then the monologue after. So let's go. Very majestic. I will say UltraKill has given me a new appreciation for the organ. Now you can hear a layered synth progression and a low bass, which culminates to a heavy atmosphere. Syncopated drums, the organ, as well as that hard hitting percussion really helps complete the track off well. In conclusion, this track oozes evil power, whilst also getting you in your feels a little bit, giving me a sorrow feeling. It was also very industrial, which is typically used to evoke a harsh tension, which you may well see when we listen to the monologue in just a second. But first, where do I rank this? This is a pretty hard one to rank, but I think I'm going to place it high A tier. Now we've got the Fallen Angel monologue. As usual, this isn't going to affect the ranking as it's not technically part of the OST, but let's go.
Lingo, lust, all gone, with gluttony soon to follow.
I was mentioning the axe.
Your kind know nothing but hunger, purged all life on the upper layers, and yet they remain unsatiated. As to you, you've taken everything from me, machine.
Oh damn, that's deep.
All that remains is perfect hatred.
Perfect hatred. Nice touch there as well with imperfect hatred. Oh, chills.
Machine.
Oh, we've got more.
I will cut you down, break you apart, splay the gore of your profane form across the stars. I will grind you down until the very sparks cry for mercy. My hands shall relish ending you here and now.
Oh my god, what? I guess he moved on to Death of God's Will now. Bro is not happy. I need a second to breathe after that so I don't have a heart attack. Wow. Okay, I'm ready now.
Is this what I'm lost to?
Nope, I need another minute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the synthesized electric guitar.
You need more power.
More power? Divine intervention motif, yeah! I need an ambulance! No one on this planet has the right to be able to go that hard with anything! The UltraKill drums, orchestral choir, powerful bass, high frequency textures, and the suspenseful, just outright mastery groundwork laid by divine intervention is just too good. The melody just works in perfect harmony with the textures. Despite all the heavy and metallic drone notes, it makes me feel like I'm battling against some heavenly creature. Such a devious laugh. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Whoa! I've I've talked about this in a previous music ranking. I can't remember if it was Ultrakill or Terraria, but that technique is called syncopation, or sometimes call and response, which is used to catch the listener off guard and makes the track more dynamic and unpredictable. And it definitely caught me off guard. It's super easy to implement as well. I mean, you literally remove textures. It's one of those less is more things which you saw used a lot previously on the channel by DM Dekuru. What the? Yo!
Twice beaten by an object. Twice. I've only known the taste of victory. This taste is this my blood? I've never known such relief.
Such relief? Is this a call to Revenant from Apex?
We will meet again, machine.
Well, the guy in the voice line needs some time to think, but I don't need any time to think where this is going to go. In conclusion, I talked about the powerful bass and the high frequency textures during that climax of the Divine Intervention motif, but what was interesting is how that part of the track was unique, as for the majority of the rest of the track, the frequency stayed in the midpoint. There could be a couple reasons as to why Hakita chose to do this, with the more obvious one to make it stand out more, which again, it definitely did. Apparently for this track, Hakita made it from scratch in just 4 hours, which I honestly cannot believe. It just seems too unrealistic, but if he did somehow manage to do that, that has got to be one of the greatest musical feats in human history. I remember when I listened to Divine Intervention, I said Hakita had made a Michelin star level dish. Well, with this, he's just solved world hunger. So far, this video has already been nuts. Let's see if we can continue it with Silence Introspection. Let's go. I swear I've heard this before. Is this just a repeat track? Oh no, I think it's slightly different. It gives the vibe of a creepy lullaby, whilst weirdly having a sprinkle of hopefulness to it. Unfortunately, it's very repetitive, so I just don't have too much to say about it. In conclusion, this started in C minor before transitioning to E flat major and then finishing in G minor. Definitely an interesting chord progression. Will be typically used to try and portray someone or something being deep in thought or self-examination maybe. Okay, I've just re-listened to Disgrace Humiliation, which is very similar to this track. I would say that has a darker and harsher tone to represent a more overwhelming disgust than Silence Introspection. I would say I slightly prefer the latter, so I'm going to slot it just above in ultra cool C tier. This next track, 7th Symphony, 2nd movement, Allegretto, is obviously not an original OST as it was composed by the one and only Ludwig van Beethoven in the 1810s. But this track is an Allegretto, which is an Italian term basically meaning a little faster, so I'm very excited, and let's go. Oh, I didn't realise it's a differing instrumental too. I love this remix so much. The original was famous for being hauntingly beautiful, but this track has a ultra cool twist to it with a deeper bass and distorted synths to give a feeling of nightmarish despair. I apologise for not saying too much at the moment, but I'm just enjoying myself so much, laying back, listening, relaxing to this with a great big smile on my face. In conclusion, what else do I need to say? Beethoven's the GOAT. Even if I don't have as much knowledge or interest in this era of music, I still have the most amount of respect and appreciation as to how he changed music forever. This is probably the easiest decision I've had to make all series, the best of the disqualified OSTs. Speaking of disqualified OSTs, we are going to do this track next, as I got told it goes before Tenebre, Rosso, Sangue in game, and this is kind of an intro for it. I fear I'm going to offend a couple jums of this pronunciation. Weihnachten Am Klavier. Hope that wasn't too bad, but this translates to, let's see, Christmas on piano, Christmas at the piano, one of them. Anyway, this looks like it was made by Adolf Gluck in 1929. I'm pretty confident I've never heard of this before, so let's go. Sunshine Mirage vibes. It is quite nice. It reminds me of something very old, maybe now abandoned, but with the core memories of that place still being there. And we've got a rain ambience with it too now. A very strong rain ambience. Just rain now. Okay, I like how I've integrated the nicest day for weather in England into this track. In conclusion, strange. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. The mezzo piano was played in the C minor key, which gives it that quite common as OST melancholic feeling. It had a very smooth and gentle tempo. Well, before we got rudely interrupted by the most vicious storm since the Great Bowler Cyclone. Because of that, as well as it being very short, is going to the bottom of the disqualified quintet. I hope that you're enjoying the video so far, but I'd just like to take a second to say that well over half of you aren't subscribed! If you didn't know, I've set myself an end of year subscriber goal, and if I don't reach that, I will quit YouTube forever. So if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to help me reach my target. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The one the majority of you have been waiting for the most. I've had over 50 comments talking about this track, with some of them getting hundreds of likes. And that track is Tenebre, Rosso, Sangue. Before we listen to it, 3 things I want to quickly say. Firstly, this track is not made by Akita, as it's made by Keegan Church. Secondly, I know that this is a lot of you guys' favourite tracks. That will not influence my opinions at all. This will still be a completely honest first time reaction and ranking, just like the rest of the tracks. And thirdly, let's go! Beautiful and very suspenseful piano entry. The pipe organ's back, and now we've got some overtones here that creates tension. It's building up to a drop. Not even exaggerating, that might be the most epic beat drop I've ever heard. The dissonance before the double trouble ultra kill drum. Wheel it back! I'm tightening my headphones so they don't fall off. Let's go! No! Super intense Baroque style with the double bass that feels like it's moving dynamically with the rhythm. But it's the organ in the foreground that takes control, takes the lead, stands out the most, and my god does it do it with some authority. And we've got some stuttering synths that works just so well and gives you the feeling of fighting the Lord's army in hell as it crumbles beneath you. I need the police now! Keegan, this is dangerous! This song is so good, it shouldn't be legal! What have I just done? Well, my green screen now looks like it's doing the Michael Jackson lean. This is a dream. I'm living in a fantasy. Hang on. No, this is real life. The gritty cymbals, the demanding snare, the unforgiving organ, and the melody just hitting a new level of metallic grandness and power. It's just relentless. I'm gonna give myself whiplash in a minute. I just don't know what to do with myself anymore. My ears do not deserve to be able to listen to something this good. Oh, the pedal tones to end it as well. Stunned. Absolutely stunned. I've been overwhelmed with stunness. In conclusion, this song was so good even deaf people would like it. The crushing drums, distorted bass and erratic, unstable melody to finish off this song evokes the feeling of a surreal nightmare. After this battle of the ages is finished, you notice all the destruction it's created to your surroundings, leaving you with a eerie emptiness after all the chaos. Do you know what I've realised? UltraKill music is a drug. It gets you very hyper, probably too hyper. It cannot be good for me. I mean, I've literally just jumped through a green screen, and after having a bit, you just want more. I've just added this onto my gym playlist. Although thinking about it, I don't get time to go gym anymore. You know what? Having this on there will encourage me to go, just so I can listen to this track more. I could honestly talk about this track all day, but I won't for now, as we've got another 4 tracks to go through, so I'll just talk about it, analyse it more in the UltraFinals, because it's making it there, alright? Keegan Church might be the world's first ever person to achieve perfection. Oh, I need a break after that. So I'll be back tomorrow for the remaining tracks. Honestly, I struggled to sleep a bit after hearing Tenebre, Rosso, Sangue, but we're back now with Pandemonium. Let's go. Ooh, catchy bass synth. Again, a great transition with these syncopated notes. The dunner sounds like an alarm going off, representing things breaking or a machine taking control. Absolutely crazy time signatures. Very erratic and all over the place, giving an unstable feeling. It reminds me a bit of Chaos of how crazy the time signatures were in that one. Okay, I really like that. That's the first time in a while we've had a séjour rather than a syncopation. Hang on, let me explain. A syncopation, or a syncopated note, is when notes are played on offbeats. Or for the example used in this track, when all the textures suddenly delay or all the instruments stop at the same time with one note temporarily replacing them. For example, what I assume is a heavily synthesized electric guitar here. The séjour is a complete interruption in the music, generally very short like this. It's used a lot in live music to give, for example, the trumpet player a chance to catch their breath. I hope that made sense for everyone. You see, on the CGS channel, not only do you see a lunatic swan dive into a green screen, you also learn something new. Love this sequence of the shifting chromatic dynamics. As usual, the UltraKill drums are working overtime. The bass is chaotic but controlled. Again, absolute Hikita masterclass. What? Okay, this is interesting. Here we have what is called a devil's interval, which in this case is between the notes of B and F to form a C major key. This is used to represent evil, although you don't tend to see this technique used too much anymore. What? Did the Keita have a stroke at the end? In conclusion, I mentioned earlier any time signature coordination pretty much being thrown out the window of a 20-story building. That is true, except for a random 4/4 common time being placed in the middle, which I just thought was ludicrous.
Alright, who called for ludicrous?
But at one point, I think I went to an 11/4, which is just obscene. For the ranking, I would definitely say that this is better than Chaos. I'm just going to place it above that. Actually, no, this is better than Unstoppable Force as well, but definitely A tier worthy. The next track is called War. I believe this is the last track in the OST, where we're going to be listening to it, and then listen to the monologue after. So let's go. Oh, the violin lines here are really pulling on my heartstrings. It again gives that feeling of looking back at the destruction after a battle. Wow, the snare drum switched that feeling around. Now I feel like this battle, this war, is not over. You can now hear that same synthesizer that was used in Dune Eternal, which I mentioned last episode. I just love listening to these tracks because I know every single time the beat drop is going to make me smile. I love the slight crescendo pitch shift. Sounds like from a forte to a fortissimo. It really does sound like a brutal showdown against a boss. It's just so crunchy. The destruction is escalating, with the cymbals and hi-hats going up like 1000 BPM, which I think matches my heart too. We've got some glitchy synthesized guitar riffs, which adds an unpredictable twist. Maybe Hikita added this in to make you wonder what I assume is a boss is going to do next. How it's going to try and throw you off in a new way, which in itself adds tension and anticipation. Damn! Okay. Yeah? Oh, this is my new favourite bit so far. It feels like a new phase of the war of the electronic textures, while still keeping the same percussion, which helps smoothly phase out the old ones. Do you like what I did there? Do I even need to say anything other than I love the electric guitar? Sands of Tide motif! Let's go! Oh, sublimely implemented as always. Oh my god, I've never heard such relentless drums in my life. We've got double bass kicks, the most antagonistic snares with just constant cutting. I forgot how emotional the opening was. A majestic loop. In conclusion, you can really see, or hear, Akita's progression for these tracks. It was so well made, where the rhythm shift, for example, added a fresh layer of chaos, while maintaining or even expanding on the destruction. The Sands of Tide motif had similar structural and melodic resemblance of Ode to Joy, which is one of the only things I can play on the piano from a few lessons back in school. This track, I would say, felt a bit more controlled and laid back. It didn't feel as desperate or forced to get certain textures in, like, we've got to have the guitar here, we've got to have the organ and the drums here, coinciding with the piano. I don't know, it just felt like Akita wasn't trying as much to fit it all in, and that shows in a really positive way for this battle. I think we're going to learn more about this track and the meaning behind it in the monologue. Oh, by the way, I'll put this track up in S tier, but I didn't need to mention that, did I really? Alright, now let's listen to said monologue of war. Let's go.
A visitor. Indeed.
He sounds so menacing.
The kingdom of heaven has long since forgotten my name, and I am eager to make them remember. However, the blood of Minos stains your hands, and I must admit, I'm curious about your skills.
So am I.
And so, before I tear down the cities and crush the armies of heaven, you shall do as an appetizer.
He's very confident, isn't he?
Child of man, and die.
Damn, oh my god!
Yes, that's it.
I can't even imagine how intense it must be hearing him say these merciless one-liners whilst fighting for your life in game. It gives me the impression of an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. Oh, here we go.
So concludes the life and times of King Sisyphus. A fitting end to an existence defined by futile struggle. Doomed from the very start. And I don't regret a second of it.
Wow, so this boss shows no regret after being defeated, like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I mean, that just shows more than anything how good of a composer Akita is, by the fact that I managed to predict that, as I predicted other things in this series too, just by how he structures out these incredible tracks. It is seriously impressive. The penultimate track for today is called The Song That Plays in the Level Colloquially.
Looking at how to pronounce this word, colloquial.
Julie Miguel the GOAT. Let's try again. The penultimate track for today is called The Song That Is Colloquially Known as 4-S. Not exactly the most innovative name, but hopefully the track contradicts it. Let's find out. Hey, this has got a really nice rhythm to it. I do love the reverberated piano. It reminds me a lot of a desert theme from the Mario Bros series. And cymbal! This track's vibes, immaculate. We've got the Dune Eternal synthesizer back. Or maybe not. No, my bad. It's a wave bass. A sawtooth wave bass, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's very much a background texture, but a welcome one. No way! We're transitioning to a rock section now. Double kick patterns on the drums with the guitar riff just complements each other so well here. But don't forget about the cymbal. In conclusion, is it the most complex track with the most amount of textures? No. Is it a track that blew me away with how extraordinary Hikita's skills are? No. Did I still love it? Yes. The bass line went unironically hard, and like I said, the cymbal really helps carry out that track. Now I will say this does fit into the stereotypical video game music, but it had a lot of charm to it. This might be controversial. Actually no. It's better than Sunshine Mirage, but I just can't place it any higher than that, as it's not as fleshed out as the tracks above it. Now to finish off this incredible episode, and to finish off Layer 6 and Act 2, we've got Lakeside Songbook. Why do I keep on doing this? Lakeside Songbook. I really want to say we've got calm and positive vibes to finish off this video, but the last time I said that, well, I'll just show you. We've got great positive vibes to finish off the video. So with this, we're in the Dawn theme, and it looks like there are 4 other themes of this track, but starting off with this one, it's so uplifting and gentle. I'm so glad this is the final track that we're listening to today, because this would be a great theme to fall asleep to. The string pads really glue this melody together and gives it a very catchy vibe. Although music is very much subjective, I feel like no one could ever hate on this. Now we transition into the day theme, which is very similar, just with a few extra textures now, such as the acoustic guitar. Going back to England now, as we've got a rain ambience for the beginning of the evening theme. This is my favourite one so far. The way the piano notes are now played, with more caring notes that are slower, particularly how the primary key is in F major, sparks a sense of nostalgia. It's like coming back from school or work when you were younger, coming home to play your favourite video game. Like for me, it was Mario Kart Wii. The best Mario Kart, by the way. I don't want to hear any of this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. As the sun sets, we enter the dusk theme. And this being even slower than before gives me the sensation of winding down at the end of the day before going to bed. The strings here are really rich as well, which only adds to that sensation. And now to finish it off, we've got the night theme, which I already noticed isn't as plucky per se, but the addition of the... Oh, what are those creatures called that make that noise? I always hear it at night when I've been to America before. Grasshoppers, maybe? No, crickets, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the lack of textures helps capture the stillness of the night, and it is just so relaxing. All of these I love a lot. If I were to order these themes, it would be evening, dawn, night, day, dusk. Speaking of ordering, where am I going to place this? Another difficult one to rank, but I would say it's slightly better than the song that plays in the level colloquially known as 4-S. However, I just can't place it any higher for the same reasons as the song that plays in the level colloquially known as 4-S. Well, that almost concludes this video, as we're still going to make the near impossible decision as to which 2 tracks progress through to the Ultra Finals. You guys weren't kidding me when you said I should let 4 tracks go through for this episode, but I have made this very difficult decision. So after some careful consideration, I've decided Tenebre, Rosso, Sangue and War progress through. And with that, we are done. The standard in this video has been higher than any other ranking video that I've done on the channel by quite a margin, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have too. If you have, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But I will see you next week for either a Terraria or an Iceland vlog. I'm not too sure which one I'll get done first, but in the meantime, thank you so much for watching it all the way to the end, and good night.